Hello friends, it's Sarah. Welcome to another Dinkum build, and we are currently on part 2 of the Grand Canyon and surrounding area. This is just to the south side of the west-facing part of the canyon, and we decided to put in a campground over here. And because there's a river right there and a big lake not too far from here, we decided to fill in this little pond. So that's what we're doing, taking it away. Those poor fish, their home is being destroyed. We're terrible conservationists, destroying a natural environment like this. But sacrifices must be made for the name of design and for art. Actually, no, that's terrible. But we're playing a game, so it's all good. Here we're going to reseed. We decided to kind of make the executive decision to mix the grass styles here. So here we're doing the campground, or getting it ready for the campground area. We decided to build the cabins first, mostly because, it sounded like fun. And I wanted to utilize this idea I had first seen it on Stephafa's Bayou build. I don't know if she was the first person to originate it, but I think I've also seen it on Katie Gentleman's channel and maybe Reap's. Not 100% sure at the moment. But yeah, I know for sure I saw it on Stephafa and I was like, that creates kind of like this little porch area. I like that. I want to use that when we build cabins. And so here we go. And I kind of experiment with how it's looking and how to make it work. And anyway, we go through several iterations of this where I'm like, it looks strange. What's the best way to do this? I leave it, come back, you know how it is. But no campground is complete without some cabins and a place to hook up RVs and to place your tents. And so that was kind of the idea here, was to have a place for cabins, because when we were there at the Grand Canyon, I noticed that there were little cabins you could rent. There was places where you could do just regular old tent camping. I think there were places for RVs and fifth wheels, things like that. So I wanted to incorporate all of those here, and that's what we're doing. We're experimenting with fencing, what's going to look good. And while I did not dislike this particular fence style, it seemed a little, heavy-handed. And I remembered we had the crude fencing that was in the kind of the white birch, and while it's a completely different color, sometimes contrasting colors can add a little something. And so we ended up going with the crude fence with the birch wood, or I guess it's gum wood, but it looks like birch. And I thought it set off the area really well. Sometimes I can get a little too matchy, so, I was challenging myself to be a little different, do it a little different. Now, normally, when I do a build, I like to have a manicured lawn. But in this particular one, we did not mow grass anywhere. In fact, it grows up pretty much everywhere naturally, and I liked that it looked a little more wild, a little more natural, for lack of a better adjective. But here is the second cabin. So Sunny was doing the main, architectural structure, and then I would come in and throw this on there and place down any other little tidbits to make it look more cabin-like, like a door and different things like that. I think later on we come in with signs and we name each cabin a certain thing. But there, I finally got the configuration for the porch that I liked. Mostly using, pathing and elements I really hadn't used in builds before, because I'm definitely more of a city builder, I guess, more of an urban builder. And so I used a lot of new items in the game in terms of pathing and fencing and all that. So it was a nice little challenge. And this is the fun part. This is the part where you get to start decorating and really bringing it to life and making it look like something that would be at the Grand Canyon National Park. Because I didn't stay there, I'm kind of having to use my imagination a little bit. I did see from a distance, but 12 years ago, I don't even know what I did yesterday, so my memory may be faulty. We use our imaginations. We did a very simple staircase here to get down, rather than something that was going to take up, mostly because I feel like for something like this, it would be a relatively narrow pathway up to. And we decided to do everything at different levels also, because I tend to be a very flat builder sometimes, and in order to challenge myself with something else, I was like, okay, the cabins need to be at an elevated height, the tents can be a little lower, and then the RVs will be on, say, ground zero, the ground floor. And that way you just get some varying height elements going on, and it gives it a little bit more oomph in terms of design versus everything being flat, which is sometimes my fatal flaw. So here we're going, naming all the cabins after evergreen trees. We end up building a fourth one here in just a little bit, but we may have taken a break to go do something else. We kept trying to figure out what's evergreen. And then I was like, oh, yeah, there's this. And she was like, that's not a great name for a lodge. Let's kind of call it something else. And then I was like, oh, cedar. So tried to do all evergreen trees. It was a theme. I don't know. And then, of course, we got to put some camping paraphernalia around. This area. Oh, yes. So we took a break from building cabins and decided to build the bathroom area. And Sunny's getting started on that. I decided to come over and build the signage. If you've ever been to any kind of national park, they all have kind of similar signs. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you guys, if you've been to any, you know what I'm talking about. And so I wanted to replicate that here. And so that's what I'm building while she's getting all that dirt printing going and building the bathroom, shower, communal area that you're going to see in just a few minutes. I really ended up enjoying making this come to life. I had seen a picture, and I remember what it would look like when we drove into the Grand Canyon area, and trying to make that happen here in the game was a lot of fun. So here we've got the layout of the bathrooms, and we start discussing, and I was like, dang, this is like a huge bathroom shower area. And we were looking at it kind of, I was like, come over here, let's assess. Is it too big? Is it too small? Like, trying to get the proportions right to everything else that's going to be in this area. And we decided that it was maybe a little too big. So here we are, taking it down a few levels and taking off a few rows. That's just the theme of our building, basically. You guys have watched any of my videos in the past, you know that this is pretty much par for the course. So here I'm trying to figure out how to do the bathroom. Like, whenever you go to a public restroom at any campground or public area, it has a certain look about it. And Sunny and I had a miscommunication because I was like, oh, I thought the doors were just going to come straight out of the doors right here on either side. And she was like, oh, no, I was thinking I'm going to do it like this. And so all the things you see here, none of that stayed. We finally got on the same page, and it was like, oh, okay. You can talk and say, but until you start showing, for me, my brain just does not compute it. So anyway, we're finally getting on the same page right about here and figuring out what the other person was meaning, and we're like, okay, good. So yeah, that's what's happening here. As you'll see, I've seen on, I believe it was Girly Gamer. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now. I'm pretty sure. I had seen a picture several weeks ago that she had posted, I think, in Discord, and I was like, is that the flower boxes as pathing? That's genius. And so I decided to implement that here. So it's not an original idea. If you like it, it was not me. I think Girly Gamer, go check her YouTube out. I think she was the one that came up with this, or that's the first place I saw it anyway. And I thought it was really clever, and it looks really cool. It looks like a lined pathway that's dirt. And I really like the look of that, and we went with it. Now we got to just, decorate the area, because bathrooms are eyesores, so let's make it look somewhat pretty. And it's a communal space. I decided to plant some trees here to sort of hide this the red dirt wall, and just, bring some different textures, bring some different color in. The blackwood trees are really tall, and then the pinewood trees are a little short, so you get varying heights and you get varying textures, and it just came together really well. And so this is the fourth cabin we ended up building that's a little lower down. I was really proud of myself for doing things at different levels, not making things symmetrical or in the same line. I do tend to do that a lot, and this build really brought some new elements for me in how I approached decorating for this particular build. So always keep challenging yourself, guys, and do something different outside your comfort zone. Sometimes it pays off. So just here, we're gonna make the main pathway out of this flower box, gumwood flower box. It really looks cool. I like how that came together. This all changes a little later. I can't do single pathways very well. Like, my brain's just like, what? So we changed that up a little bit later. But here we are taking a bit of a break to come over and check out the RVs that I had Sunny start building. I had done a test build of some tinting and the RV build that you're going to see here in just a little bit previously, to see if it was even something we could attempt to do and make it look like what we were wanting it to look like, which was an RV, a fifth wheel, whatever. And then, because we don't have placeable tents in the game, I wanted to have tents. I mean, obviously, if you're camping, but I think the RV build, testing it out first and coming in and redoing it, having it ready to go, really worked out for us. Those are the wheels. What do you think? Does it look like an RV a little bit? It's the best we could do with what we had available to us in the game. So, you do what you can. You live with it. We hooked up a truck, made it a different color because chrome on chrome seemed a little bit much. I wanted them to look like Airstreams, but, it's really hard to make rounded edges when everything is block style. So we made them look more like fifth wheels instead, but we're going to call it an RV hookup. And I end up changing signs later, but I was really liking how this was coming together. It felt like a campground to me. Ooh, look at that. These bush devils, they like to sneak up on you and catch me on fire literally every time. So here we're building the tents. Again, when I did the test build, I did several different colors of pathing. I did several different dimensions. This is what ended up looking the most like a tent. And since, we've got this really cool red carpet pathing, why not use it and make some red tents? I did abandon this idea. It just looked way too wide, and I was not liking it. And I was like, not every tent has that super triangular shape anyway. So I eventually take up the sides and make it a little bit less chunky, for lack of a better term there. And it's a miracle I did not catch myself on fire every single time I walked past one of those campfires, because, oh boy, I tell you what, that's a hazard for sure. So yep, this is decorating the little campground area with the tents. And again, like I said, I go back here in just a little bit and take that extra row off on either side. I think I had Sunny come over to help out, and she was like, yeah, let's not use that extra row. See, it looks so much better. So I'm glad we did that. While I was doing this, I think she was also working on our second fifth wheel RV. Nope, she's not there yet. We do build a second one, because one just seemed a little sparse. And I did decide to change it up with the fencing over here. I thought this mat area warranted that particular type of style. I also decided to build it further back. I'm not sure why I didn't do that from the get-go, but you live and learn. As you guys have seen, I change my mind 100 times, because sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason for what I'm doing. And here I'm kind of building this out so that we can have some steps and make it squared off a little bit more for like other item placement that'll come in a little bit. I keep forgetting that the actual sign has the direction pointing that way, and I go back and I change that and take that little arrow off. The campgrounds around here, look at that, look how pretty that is. They number their campsites, so that's why I did that. I had to take a couple pictures because, I mean, how pretty, right? And if you're not following me on Instagram, you should. I post screenshots from gameplay and other things, so you should check that out. Serendipity Plays with an N. It's linked on my YouTube, as well as my TikTok, if you want to do TikTok. So there's the second RV, or fifth wheel. We made it a different color, and we made it longer at first, but then we go back in and I think we shave it down because it was just a little too long. I built another tent. I was like, that area could use another tent. Why not? For somebody, no, there we go. If you haven't seen my short where I do the whole 2 clips that give off the same energy, you should go check that out. It's really funny. I caught myself on fire accidentally, and then Sunny immediately did the same thing. Those campfires, man, I tell you, they're a hazard. We had a good laugh. It was funny. So for somebody who's not a natural builder, I am proud of how this all came out and how we ended up making this look. Always got to fight the crocos or bush devils. They're coming in and bothering us while we're doing work. We wanted to make a little picnic area / play area where the swimming hole would be, as I imagine this to be right here. A little bit of a glitch in the game there, guys. Sorry. But isn't the swing set cute? It's not officially in the game yet, but I believe it's coming in a future update. So I don't think any park is complete without a picnic area. I decided to build a dock out into the water for boating or fishing or whatever, and it was really small, nothing too terribly big. This palm bridge item is bugged in the game, so you have to be really careful how you use it. I wouldn't recommend it if you are playing in creative mode unless you have some patience and tolerance. Because you have to place it in the most southwest corner of your build first. If you're doing it a little differently than what I did, it can have some problems and issues. So just know that if you're playing in creative mode, that particular bridge will give you some fuss. So across the way, there was this just big blank area that was red and not very pretty. And I'm like, if we're in a national park, we need some trees and some grass over there. So we went to work planting tons of pine and blackwood trees. And now I'm just placing some lilies right here by the shore. Because pretty much every pond or lake I've been to, they all tend to cluster up right at the entrance. So she decided to build a little, didn't get enough time there, but she decided to build a little like boat jack, a little thing that you would use to put your boat in. And here I decided to put the rock pathing in the water on the dirt because I imagine in this area there's a lot of rocks. It's not just a big sandy beach. So we decided to put rock underneath it. And I liked it. It's a texture thing. It adds more texture, it adds more visual interest, and it breaks up a lot of that just red. Look at us. Picture time. We're super cute. So here I'm going to take you on a little tour of the build now completed. RV hookups. I'm not much of a camper, but I think I'd stay here. What about you guys? Let's get a view from the air, shall we? I'm really happy how this turned out. It was a lot of fun to build, a lot more fun than dirt printing endlessly, I'll say that. Well, this is going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed part 2 of the Grand Canyon National Park and surrounding area. And as always, you guys be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm